You better become the Hokage. I will.
Everybody jokes about Obito. The guy started a war over a crush, or the biggest simp in anime. And honestly, I get why people say that, but I think most people completely misunderstand Obito. Because Obito didn't become who he was because of one tragedy. He became that person after years of loss, isolation, guilt, and watching the world prove his worst fears right over and over again. And when you really look at his story, Obito wasn't weak. He was just exhausted. What made young Obito interesting wasn't that he was talented, because let's be honest, he wasn't. He wasn't the genius, he wasn't the prodigy. He wasn't the kid everyone expected greatness from. In fact, he was the opposite. He was late all the time, clumsy, emotional, and honestly kind of like Naruto before Naruto. But what he did have was belief. He believed hard work mattered. He believed that people were good. He believed that becoming Hokage could actually change things. And that's important because when we talk about Obito, we usually focus on the villain version, but the tragedy only works because the kid underneath genuinely wanted to help people. That hopeful version of him is what makes everything hurt later.
What's happening? Kakashi.
People usually point to Rin's death as the moment that Obito snapped. But I think Obito started dying way before that. Think about what happens to him. He grows up during war. Kids are being sent out to kill and die before they're old enough to understand what any of it means. Then he finally starts catching up. He earns respect. He builds friendships. Feels like maybe life is starting to move in the right direction. And then a boulder crushes half his body. Imagine being a kid and thinking, cool, guess this is it. He gives Kakashi his eye, accepts death, and then somehow survives. Except survival isn't really survival, because the world he wakes up to is gone.
I will not accept any of this!
This part gets skipped a lot, but Obito doesn't immediately return. He spends months isolated, in pain, stuck underground, watching the world through pieces. And isolation does weird things to people. When you're alone long enough, your thoughts stop sounding like thoughts. They start sounding like facts. And during all this, there's someone constantly feeding his hopelessness, telling him that the world's broken, telling him that suffering never ends, telling him people always lose what matters most. Eventually, when that's all you hear, the voice in your head starts repeating it for you. So when people say, why didn't Obito just move on? Trauma stacked on top of isolation, stacked on top of grief, doesn't create clear thinking. It creates exhaustion. And then we get to the scene everybody talks about. Rin dies, Kakashi standing there, everything's falling apart. But here's where I think people misunderstand things. Rin wasn't the only thing Obito lost. She was proof. The proof that all those dark ideas growing in his head might actually be true. Think about it. He believed teamwork mattered. His team shattered. He believed the good people survive. They didn't. He believed hard work changes fate. And then war laughed at that idea. Rin wasn't the entire reason, but she was the moment his last defense broke. And that's different.
Oh, it's nothing, Rin, I swear. Really, it's just a scrape. A little spit'll take care of it.
Enough! Show me!
The scary thing about Obito isn't that he became evil. It's how understandable his logic becomes if you follow that path long enough. His solution wasn't, I want power. It was, I want the pain to stop. That's why Infinite Tsukuyomi matters. People call it manipulation or control, a fake world. And yeah, it is, but for Obito, it was an escape. A world where nobody loses people, nobody fails, and nobody suffers. The terrifying part is that once someone believes reality itself is a problem, anything starts feeling justified. I think that's why Obito still starts arguments years later. Because people see different things. Some people see a villain, and some people see someone selfish. Others see someone broken. And honestly, he's probably all three, but reducing him to he started a war because of a girl feels like ignoring everything that happened before that breaking point. Nobody wakes up one day and becomes Obito. People get worn down, piece by piece, loss by loss, until eventually they stop recognizing themselves. That's why I don't think Obito's story is really about weakness. It's more about what happens when someone spends so long surviving pain that they forget how to imagine a future outside of it. And maybe that's why his story sticks with so many people, because exhaustion doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it just looks like someone slowly giving up on the world. So maybe the real tragedy of Obito Uchiha isn't that he became a villain, it's that the kid who wanted to become Hokage disappeared long before anyone noticed. But that's just how I see it. What do y'all think? Was Obito weak, or was he just exhausted? Let me know in the comments, as well as who you guys want broken down next like this. And I'll catch you guys next week.